Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Propagandacast with me, your host, Imperial Dane, Master of Propaganda, Hero of the Reich, Defender of the Fatherland. Here to deliver on your eyes, and here's another glorious Propagandacast straight from the fields of Angoville. We shall be watching Nerix fighting for the United States, fighting for the 3rd Infantry Division, fighting against DaRealslimshady fighting for the 352nd Infantrie Division, with perhaps some light support elements from elsewhere. A standard start from Nerix. 2 engineers, barracks up. Rather the same thing from DaRealslimshady. Wehrmacht quarters, 2 pioneers out. So far, so good. Rifleman there. Obviously can't quite have seen Company Hughes, sort of at the same time what they're building. Hopefully Company Hughes 2 will be featuring such slightly improved features, so it's a bit easier to sort of give a greater overlook of how things are progressing. Certainly they had such things in Dawn of War 2, so I am optimistic about what Company Hughes 2 will have in terms of feedback and things I can show during a replay. First squad of full Scandinavians is out from DaRealslimshady. Deutsches Infantry marching out. Rifleman also there. Both heading towards the western side, so we can imagine there'll be some sort of initial engagement. And Nerix actually going for a Jeep second. Interesting, fascinating. And the engineers, of course, immediately spotting the Wehrmacht concentration right here by the fuel point, and thus, of course, Nerix is now aware of what might be happening and what he can do, sort of slightly. What his options are. Slim Shady actually moving towards here, perhaps a bit of a bold measure. He ought to have thinking there might be a rifleman on the way. Now he's forced away. This could actually work out quite well for Nerix. A unit moving backwards, of course, is one not shooting at you while you're advancing, so in that sense the rifleman could get advantage. There we go. Engineers and riflemen moving out close. Pioneers and Volksgunners piling back. Engineers pushed away. Will the Volksgunners and Pioneers be able to hold back the rifleman? Will the rifleman already hold the advantage? But there we go, a bunch of them apparently get a bit too eager and run a bit too far in the excited jumpiness, leaving behind the Pioneers to leave everything else. As the Volksgunners are retreating, but another squad of Volksgunners moving out, and a Jeep arrives, the Willys Jeep with a 30 caliber air-cooled machine gun moves in. Volksgunners out in the open. Bit of a rough start for the DaRealslimshady. Nerix pushing in hard and without remorse. However shall this go? Jeep pushing in, rifleman closing up. Jeep firing in and getting a kill for Uncle Sam, for Apple Pie and Freedom. And the Volksgunners are just getting torn up. Although the riflemen are definitely not doing too well either. The Volksgunners down to 1 man. And he pulls the German Hermann Klump off and succeeds in getting the devil out of there. But that was bloody well close. And all for Will basically just losing a few riflemen. He really managed to absolutely drain the DaRealslimshady right there in the few first minutes of the game and gain some kills, and possibly that way get much closer to some veterans already within the first few minutes of the game. Volksgunners down to half health already. Jeep pushing in, causing havoc. Engineers, riflemen moving up. Volksgunners down to the Jeep. The Jeep has already 3 kills. It must already be soaked in blood, I imagine. And the barrel slightly overheating. Jeep firing away. Caught by Volksgunners. Rifleman pushing in again. DaRealslimshady needs to have his Volksgunners working together, but he keeps sending them out piecemeal, which is definitely making it much easier for Nerix to really just hammer them down and do some damage. But there we go, 2 Volksgunner squads now working together. And in fact, rather note this, he's got 3 Volksgunner squads out at the moment. He's not got an MG42 or anything. Just 3 squads of German infantry. Oh, the Jeep went down to a mine. Slim Shady pushing half of the right hand side while Nerix has been occupied there. Mine the bit right there at the crossroads, and the Jeep went up in flames. Oh, what a terrible end for the brave Jeep. It had done so much for the United States Army, and the Wehrmacht got its revenge. And there we go, the Volksgunners moving out 14 men now versus 6 riflemen. Absolutely heavy amounts of firepower being directed against the Americans. A storm of German lead. More riflemen moving up, but they're out in the open. They could easily become easy targets as the Volksgunners keep firing. And there we go, full retreat from Nerix, realizing he cannot amass sufficient firepower to take down these soldiers of the Third Reich. not without something to even the score a bit.
The Huns are taking our territory.
Because 15 Volksgrenadiers, while they do have individually a sort of small advantage at longer range, when they have enough, that sort of advantage actually means that they can get off quite well against even an equal number of riflemen, since they can actually then drop quite a few as they try to get close. Engineers going down here. Wehrmacht continues to kill. Slim Shady pushing on. We're seeing a sniper out now. That's interesting. 3 Volksgrenadiers. Sniper so far for Slim Shady. Not a usual sort of Wehrmacht strategy. A very aggressive one, as you can sort of notice here. Pushing very hard for the west side. Medic bunker now going up. Well, bunker, but I'm pretty sure that's a medic bunker. I mean, it's, unless the real Slim Shady is suffering from some sort of brain trauma and is building a repair bunker. Riflemen pushing in. The Volksgrenadiers are not quite in a position though, and there's no heavy cover or anything to help the Volksgrenadiers. So now the Riflemen might have a chance to close in. Troops getting started. And there we go. BARs pop up on the amassed Volksgrenadiers, causing a full retreat there. Riflemen are just firing away, gunning down Heinz, Fritz and Rudolf as they try to retreat. And the bunker finishes just in time, but the Pioneers are going to be forced off as well. And there's more on the way from the Wehrmacht quarters. Could that be an MG? Could there be more Volksgrenadiers or another sniper or a bike or a Schwimmwagen? But a free rifleman start, well, with the Jeep, obviously now sort of moving in towards the BARs. Wehrmacht reorganizing. Troops are going to need reinforcement. Verstärkung. A bit of mining could benefit the real Slim Shady. Lots, well, I mean Nerix, obviously both could benefit more from mining. Sniper moving in. Volksgrenadiers moving out. Pioneers following up with mines, just in case Nerix decided to lay down some mines, which he did. W Slim Shady thinking ahead. Mining down there. Mine cleared out. Another rifle scored out for Nerix. We're... oh my goodness. 2 snipers, 3 Volksgrenadiers and 2 snipers. A rather heavy start, of course. You know you can get away with it. Now with the BARs upgraded for Nerix, but at the same time this is not a usual sort of strategy. It's a very aggressive one. Very intent on doing damage. There's nothing really can protect against, for example, a good flank. But on the other hand, it can do quite a bit of damage if well handled towards the American player. Plus, and few of the medic bunker should also help with losses due to anything really. So depending on how this goes, I mean, Slim Shady's got a rather interesting strategy and a rather interesting force composition, which can in fact do a lot of damage and drain Nerix men. Definitely not seen this before, I think. Well, I might have and then forgotten about it. Volksgrenadiers pulling back, running through the bushes, past the fences. Lining up for a defensive position. Support is needed. Sniper moves up. Other Volksgrenadier squads are nowhere to be seen. Snipers though adding in. Supplied up. Flamethrowers out for Nerix as well. Volksgrenadiers here taking considerable damage. Snipers though unleash death upon the Americans. There we go, draining them out. Medics moving out as well. Snipers retreating. Though getting off a few more shots. And medics are, I fear, going to get hunted down by Nerix, a remorseless killer. Nerix so far holding most of the map, holding most of the victory points. He's actually getting another snipe jeep, I mean, I figured he might have gone for something like a motor pool and get some armored cars out and now try to punish the Krauts, but apparently not. No, wait, never mind, he cancels the jeep. And, well, what does he do? Motor pool up.
Front shifting. Krauts are grabbing territory from us.
Volksgrenadiers with less than half health. They are probably feeling a bit exposed and a bit sore. Krieg bags going up for the real Slim Shady. Victory point in the north being taken, in the west being taken. Again, a very aggressive strategy being played right here by the real Slim Shady. Clearly intent on doing as much damage. The sniper's really doing most, but again, Volksgrenadiers can also do damage under the right circumstances. And certainly have done quite a bit. 16 kills altogether with them, and 10 on the snipers. Though he's obviously suffered a bit as well, in particular as the BARs now begin to haunt him. And certainly the lack of an MG rather means to the Americans, if under the right circumstances, can actually do a lot of damage to the real Slimshady's men, in particular the Volksgrenadiers can find themselves swept off the map. Now, of course, the question becomes, what will Nerix do? Nerix with his own minesweeper now. Snipers opening up here, meaning in fact this is a considerably more exposed spot, and there we go. Moving in. Vast assault wave. Minesweeper pioneers could go down. Never mind, ignored. Volksgrenadiers fighting here. Engineers moving in to burn the bunker. Riflemen charging straight at the Volksgrenadiers. BARs blazing into the night. Snipers opening up, gunning down riflemen. And the ooh, what's that grenade? Oh, never mind. Nonetheless, the Volksgrenadiers were able to do some damage to the riflemen. Ultimately, though, they retreated, realizing they would be lost. One squad left behind. Snipers moving in. Medics murdered. Oh, awfully close to hitting a mine for the Volksgrenadiers by DaRealslimshady. In fact, it's time to have a look at him. Grenadiers on the way. 352nd. Assault party here, fighting away, possibly the Fusilier Company. And the Grenadiers are ready. We also see a pack out. And the Greyhound is out, stalking the battlefields of Angoville.
My rifle is zeroed in. Sniper ready to join the struggle.
Kampfkraft Center going up, that's definitely going to benefit with all this infantry. In fact, he's got infantry parity with Nerix. On the other hand, though, it's not obviously the same quality infantry or nearly as well equipped infantry. Trias end up for Nerix. Good move. A medic station could, of course, also benefit Nerix, but a Trias center is always a good start. Grenadiers with a Panzerek fortifying the house. Snipers providing support. Volksgrenadiers holding up here. Pack nearby. Getting off a few nice shots on the armoured car. Volksgrenadiers advance. And the veterancy. No, not on. Oh, there we go. Infantry veterancy on the way.
Yes, sir. Grenadiers, fall in.
A bit of quiet. Nerix reinforcing. Patching up. Applying band-aids to blisters. Riflemen advancing up here, but a bit outnumbed and outgunned by German troops, perhaps. There we go, veterans 1 up. Perhaps not going to directly affect this fight, but in the longer run will ensure that the German troops won't die as easily. And there we go, the riflemen are dying. They were not able to, well, fire off sufficiently, and I wonder why he didn't just retreat right there. And now we're seeing a weapon support center going up for Nerix. He's probably trying to get a sniper to counter-snipe the real Slimshady snipers and put an end to that permanently. Greyhound shifting towards here. Volksgrenadiers and Grenadiers a bit on their own. Rather needing in, snipers bringing themselves well. The armored car tried to hit those and knock them out. Never mind. The Volksgrenadiers are the target. Grenadiers now separated from the rest of the force. Snipers retreating as well. Oh, destroyed the engine, but at the same time, the real Slimshady retreats everything, missing a chance to deliver a Panzerstrike into the rear of the Greyhound. Ach du lieber. Mines going off. Engineers advancing. Troops retreating.
What are your orders?
Suspect that is where the mine went off, we heard. Veteran to on the way for the German infantry, and some veteran for the support units as well. Going to help. And the engineers are quick to get about, getting that armoured car into tip-top shape. And there we go, pack sneaking up, snipers advancing as well. Nice, again, offensive maneuver from DaRealslimshady. Again, very aggressive play, mines going down there. And advancing up, rifleman sniped. Greyhound advancing, flamethrowers advancing. Careful, careful, Nerix. Snipers could drain you out if you're not careful. Nothing on the way from the weapon support center. And a strafing run. He tried to get the snipers. A bit of a gamble. So obviously he's gone airborne. There's nothing so far from DaRealslimshady. And obviously in this case it didn't quite work. Sometimes it can, but in this case there was nothing for Nerix. Otherwise, I mean, that would have pretty much been devastating against DaRealslimshady and would pretty much have gutted him if those two snipers were vanished, killed, murdered, ended. Veteran 2 now on the way for the support units. Interesting. Pioneers will certainly be a bit tougher there as they gain elite armor.
We are losing ground.
Pioneers are getting attacked by the Greyhound. And they are retreated.
Sieg. Sniper ready.
The Pak 38 Panzerabwehrkanone 38. Principal anti-tank cannon for about the mid-war period, although was quickly replaced, or relatively quickly replaced, by the Pak 40, which rather became the standard anti-tank gun. 75mm cannon, nice velocity, quite deadly. And basically the Pak 38 was then sort of relegated to battalion level anti-tank gun with units who couldn't get Pak 40s. Obviously the Pak 40 will be featuring in Company of Heroes 2, so look forward to that. Although rather interesting, they actually made a lower velocity variant of the Pak 40, they called it the Pak 50. About the same damage, but obviously not quite the same range.
Cowards attack our forward base.
Bunker under fire.
The enemy advances.
Another bunker up for the DaRealslimshady, and he's actually getting another medic bunker. So he's obviously trying to sort of finally get something out. Obviously his medics are consequently, very often quite exposed, which rather results in a lot of losses that way, and obviously not so many wounded actually picked up. In which case, I mean, it's very solidly played by Nerix, and they're constantly shooting down the medics, although obviously probably in a violation of a few conventions. But who's counting on that anyways? Flamethrowers advancing, but straight into sniper fire. I think that was a bit poorly done there by Nerix. Pak opening up on the Greyhound. Greyhound taking quite a bit of damage. We could see. And a recon run from Nerix. I suspect he might have been trying to get the German snipers. He rather failed in that department. Rather than they'll continue to get sniped. And now the American sniper is a bit exposed. He got one of them, but so there we go, retreating. And in fact, a full retreat from Nerix, more or less, allowing the DaRealslimshady to advance. And salt phase up. Troops reinforcing. And Nerix pulling all the way back home. Lots of losses. DaRealslimshady advancing on the right flank as well. Bunker getting repaired. Lovely that. Pulling back the anti-tank gun to get it reinforced. Nice move as well by DaRealslimshady. And the Sturm Armory going up. Two snipers out for Nerix, so he's really hoping to now drain the Germans of life. Bleed them white. And nice move here, wiring off this area so it's not quite as easily harassed. Although of course a few engineers or the armor car could quickly make a mockery of that idea. Point being killed there. Bit of quiet. Nerix once more pushing hard towards the west. He's clearly intending on getting this knocked out, and we're seeing a Goliath out. Still no doctrine for the DaRealslimshady. Pioneers under fire, of course. Veterans do so provide them with elite armor, making them a bit harder to kill. Even with the riflemen with BARs. So that's definitely helping DaRealslimshady's Pioneers stay alive this time around. And sniper fire. Getting almost an entire grenadier squad. Well, it is half anyways. Volkskr's here suffering as well. Nerix advancing on all fronts. Goliath hiding. Demolition charge. And looks like a Volkskr squad actually went down for DaRealslimshady. And the Goliath moves in, killing 4 riflemen.
Ground.
Perhaps could have done better. Snipers continue though to snipe. Grenadier squad almost reformed. 4. The real Slim Shady, and there we go. Pulling in a poor wounded pioneer. Hoping to not get spotted. And a false grenadier as well. Down. Oh, and he got shot as well. There's another medic. And he immediately becomes a target. Now we see a doctrine out, we see Blitzkrieg, and we see at the same time an anti-tanker popping in. Mine goes off, blowing a tree to bits. Sturmhaubitze are moving in. Called in from some nearby battery. Or assault gun brigade. Rifleman exposed, a bit out in the open. Stu does nothing. Bunker exposed. Slim Shady needs to regroup and counterattack. Using a bit of... Well, we've still got a decent amount of infantry, who's actually swifting towards the right-hand side. Recon run. I mean, considering there's only 1 sniper out, I'm not sure that's the most effective way. And if you shouldn't just save up for some strafing runs to try and get some German infantry stopped. He could, of course, also now consider tank there, perhaps to sort of add some more punch to his arguments against the Reich. It's actually time to return to Nerix. Slim Shady again making advances on the right side. Stu 42 with a bit of light support. Doing what he can against the armies, the Yankee gangsters. The Stu 42 actually not really being the first assault gun that was sort of meant towards specifically with high explosive rounds. That was actually before that a Stu 33-inch IB or something like that. It was basically a Panzer III modified with a 150mm gun. And basically meant for Stalingrad. It sort of looked a bit funny. Like a Sturmpanzer IV. Oh, another mine at the exact same spot, and Nerix hits it again. This time, though, he doesn't really lose a vehicle, but still nasty that. And a Goliath is coming in. Goliath! And the Greyhound is knocked out. Well, that was quite unfortunate for Nerix. He really needs to be careful of that spot. And Flamethrower pioneers did their best against the Americans, but they were a bit overwhelmed. And a Nebelwerfer now arriving. The 352nd was actually in possession of Nebelwerfers, though they were attached from Corps Command. Corps Headquarters. Another armored car to replace the one lost. No tank there posted, it looks like, for Nerix then. Rather than getting blasted by the Stu 42. Grenadiers with punch strikes as well. And the first Nebelwerfer barrage lets loose. Nerix still holding half the map, but he's certainly suffering some losses. And as the real Slim Shady gets more and more armored, he might run into some problems. Nerix, that is. And of course, later on there was the Sturmpanzer IV, which rather sort of took on the job of the Stu 42 in a more solid fashion with a 150mm gun and quite a bit of armor. Though considerably less numbers, and was generally relegated to the Sturmpanzer Abteilungs, whereas the Stu 42 usually hanged out in assault gun brigades, the Sturmgeschützbrigaden, where it was sort of attached where it was needed. That could provide quite a bit of fire. Volkskrieger here coming under fire from a fresh Greyhound. Slow advance up the left-hand side, snipers and riflemen, and the anti-tank gun. Sadly, the anti-tank is needed over here, and so are the snipers. Pioneers moving in, salvaging the armored car right under Nerix's nose, but they are coming under fire, and they are run off. And looks like a Grenadier squad has actually finally been reformed from the medic bunker. Nebelwerfer's out. The real Slim Shady adding some artillery. Snipers under heavy rocket fire, unleashing incendiary payloads, threatening to burn away their souls. Riflemen getting suppressed and getting burned. And of course, the more veterans in Nebelwerfer gets, the faster it can fire. Less cooldown between each barrage. But nice again, aggressive play from the real Slim Shady. He's always attacking if he can and securing. He's not just hanging about. anti-tank depot finally up for Nerix. A bit delayed that, I think. He could have done with that a bit earlier. Perhaps a Sherman, perhaps a few tank destroyers. Could have helped cause some problems with the real Slim Shady. And of course, I mean, if he'd gone infantry instead, he could have called in some artillery on any anti-tank guns that might appear.
Sniper ready for battle.
Tank destroyer on the way for Nerix. Mine there. Volksgun's watching. Nebelwerfer's in a nice position. There we go, another barrage. Very heavy one. And the 150mm Nebelwerfers were actually sort of the lighter Nebelwerfer variants for the Germans. They actually had some considerably larger and heavier rockets. I do believe we're talking 30 centimeters, whereas these are 15, so twice as large rockets where the Nebelwerfers are firing. So a bit of a fun fact there. Volksgun's coming under fire. Sniper down for Nerix. The real Slim Shady managed a successful counter-snipe with a veterancy fleet sniper, by the way, which definitely means these Nebelwerfers are quite tough. They can move fast, and they even gain a damage bonus to the rockets. So definitely some very, very nasty artillery right there to support the 352nd assault against the 3rd Infantry. Stu 42 pulling back, tank destroyer rolling up. Right hand side actually quite bare in terms of any sort of anti-tank weaponry, so that could work out nicely, but Nerix seems unawares. Bit of rocket fire towards here, I imagine. Oh, direct hit on the truck, ruining it. Granted, it was not really much useful before that as a truck. And Slim Shady continues to fire the rockets of death and destruction, hitting the rifleman, doing damage, and there we go. I mean, rifleman squad almost gets wiped out with a few rockets. So again, I mean, the more veterans Nebelwerfers get, the more lethal they become, not just in the amount of rockets they can sort of fire in the same time period, but obviously the rockets themselves just become more lethal. And we're seeing stormtroopers now. Assets from some SS division sent in, perhaps. Fully equipped with Sturmgewehrs. Looking quite nasty. Rifleman overwhelmed. Oh dear, oh dear. And the stormtroopers actually revealed themselves. A wounded man points them out. Look, stormtroopers. And the stormtroopers don't care. They just march through. The snipers down. Anti-tank and crew overwhelmed. We do see a strafing run, but the question is at what and what purpose did it serve? And that pretty much looks like Nerix got completely overwhelmed. Supply drops in. Volksgun's advancing in the wake of the stormtroopers and their handiwork. Nerix is in trouble. Can't be that far off from a Tiger tank either. And veteranry free for the German infantry. Grenadier unleashes Panzerschrecks on the tank destroyer. Riflemen moving up, but do they even have sticky bombs? Stormtroopers continue down there. And veteranry 3 pioneers. Strafing run. Doesn't really do much. And the tank destroyer's lost. I'm a bit curious why he keeps using strafing runs like that. How can you even win with Americans on this map? Don't strafe. I imagine we'll be seeing a deeper explanation from the real Slim Shady. And apparently he wasn't even quite aware who he was playing against.
Tally ho, we're good to go.
Taking a hit.
Rifleman advancing up here, slightly exposed center. Sniper certainly on the run. Anti-tank guns getting overwhelmed. Apparently one had been secured by the Volksgrenadiers. Stormtroopers hanging about in the rear, ready to ambush anyone they so want to. Anti-tank guns, in fact, cleared out. slight problem there for the 352nd. A Grenadier squad reformed. Riflemen are in trouble right there. Quite simply outgunned. And the stormtroopers basically just keep moving about here, hoping to find some sort of weak target they can ambush and annihilate. So what is better than strafe? It's than strafe. Technically. Anything, well, it depends on the situation. I mean, the way he sort of used it was perhaps a bit too much dependent on him getting a bit lucky. That's not to say it's useful, but obviously it rather had its usefulness outlived. And now Grenadiers with the MGs for Slim Shady. Riflemen here taking blasts from rifles and the MG just actually does quite a bit of damage. Greyhound moves in, but there's a volley of Pantrix, and the riflemen just go down as well quickly. Only one sniper. And now the stormtroopers just make short work of a few more retreating riflemen.
Losing ground.
Another tank destroyer sent out to the right hand side to clear that. That's Stu 42, which continues to be a threat, a nuisance, and a menace. Not a lot left for Nerix. And we're seeing the Neil rivers moving out by the looks of it. Main gun destroyed. The Stu 42 could go down.
Enemy unit down.
And there we go. The Grenadiers continue their advance.
Enemy fire.
Pioneers under fire by the looks of it while trying to salvage an M10. The M10 obviously does not like
Taking one of
that.
our points.
This pretty much looks like the utter collapse of the 3rd Infantry. And a Tiger has been sent in to help deliver the crashing blow, the coup de grace.
Base is taking ground out there. We have territory cut off.
Units going down. Base getting bombarded with rockets.
Down.
Units are dying. And assault going in on the riflemen, stunning them, ruining their assault. MG Grenadiers continue to hold up behind a tree. And delivering death to any advancing Americans. And there we go, charging across the open road. One gets sniped. And the Grenadiers retreat from the position, overwhelmed. German sniper pulls back with 28 kills. And he actually conducts a retreat as well. But now the Tiger is on the loose. And it has reached the base without no support though. Greyhound spotted. And Greyhound more or less gutted.
Tactical air support is asking for smoke.
Forward supply station secure.
Nerix continuing the sort of questionnaire with DaRealslimshady. And DaRealslimshady, of course, being so nice to actually sort of explain things. Very nice by him. Very good sportsmanship. And basically just nice. And in this case, of course, he rather figures it was a desperate choice to sort of win the Sniper 1. Of course, it rather came about because of that, so that's certainly something. And Slim Shady rather explaining why he thinks it does not work. And obviously, I mean, if you disagree with him, you know, you can explain to her in the comments, you know. Always nice to have a discussion on these things going. But yeah, quite a large infantry force. And not a lot left for Nerix. GG. There you go. Just a crap. GG. I'm new to 1 versus 1. In which case I'd say he's played quite well. Although I imagine he's one who's playing 2 versus 2.
enemy has 300 points.
And DaRealslimshady seems to also think that Nerix played quite well considering that.
Our forces are ready for Blitzkrieg assault.
There we go, tank destroyer's gone. Let's just speed this up, not much really going on. And game over. Match over. A rather tough fight. I mean, yes, the American had a pretty good domination. That Jeep was absolutely wondrous. Really did a lot of damage, but then the mine came, and that was pretty much good night. Jeep, all you know. So again, you know, keep an eye out for mines always. But overall, pretty unusual Wehrmacht to start out. You know, the 3 Volksguys, 2 snipers sort of out with that. He was really aggressive. But Nerix was actually able to sort of contain it. It was sort of later on, though, that he sort of seemed to lose air. He was sort of, you know, going for that strafing run. Hoped it obviously didn't work. And then sort of recon run snipers, which basically meant munitions wasted. He never quite managed to pull it off, which is a bit of a shame. And of course, question is, shouldn't he just have gone for another doctrine like infantry or armor? In this case, perhaps armor would, or infantry, I mean, would have suited him better. Go for the left-hand side, perhaps get some off-map combat groups. Or some rangers, or perhaps, you know, right-hand side and get some artillery to get the snipers that way. Medic bunkers were a nice choice, although this one a bit too exposed. The medics basically never had a chance. They were gunned down constantly. It was only later on when the medics were never really useful that they sort of came about to actually do anything. But good use of sort of the first 2 tiers, good use of veterancy, good use of Nebelwerfers, where you see them used like that. Fun usage of the Storms, again, very nice aggressive play from the Wehrmacht. Without MGs, that's pretty rare, I would say. And of course, Nerix could certainly have done some things better, like a medic station. I don't think he actually got supplied upgrades, did he? That could probably have been also something fixed. And perhaps some grenades would also have benefited him. But overall, interesting fight, of course. I mean, hope you thought as well. Let your thoughts be heard in the comments. But if you enjoyed it, why not subscribe and tell your friends? And if you didn't, well, why not send in a replay or provide some feedback in the comments? This is Imperial Danes.